Hello and welcome everybody. Jay Fazette here. How are you doing on this fantastic and amazing Sunday? If you can hear this, please do me a favor. Webinar Q&A and type in your questions. I will do my best to answer, to serve and support each and every one of you in terms of getting your masterminds up and running. And I just see a whole whack of people have arrived. So again, I'll just say we are at the pre-webinar Q&A session. I'm happy to serve, support, and assist. You guys can type in your questions. I will answer them to the best of my ability. Now, if you know somebody, a coach, a friend, an entrepreneur, a business partner, somebody who could benefit from rolling out masterminds in their business, in their life, feel free to invite them. You can just share this little link here. I believe my team is going to put the link in the little chat window as well, and we are going to get moving and shaking. So somebody said, how come I can't see anything? I'm going to guess that you have the window closed because everybody else says they can. So just check around there. So here's the deal, gang. What is the upper limit? So I'm going to dive right into questions. And Alan has a great question. What's the upper limit on numbers you'd recommend and duration of sessions? Well, I'll answer the number one pretty quickly, simply and easily. Actually, I just realized I did not put my webcam on. I like having my webcam on because it feels more like I'm having a conversation with you guys than it is that I'm talking at you. And I'm not really a huge fan of talking at people. So there we go. Now, numbers, I like somewhere between 8 and 12 is really my sort of favorite sweet spot of how that goes. And that again is somewhat preferential, but I can tell you this is that as the groups get larger than 12, it becomes more and more difficult to manage the group dynamics, to really have the intimacy that is, the hallmark of really powerful masterminds. So that's my favorite. If you get too much larger, then you have other difficulties. Now, the other piece about this duration, it depends on structure and format, and that structure and format is something you must design based on the promise of your mastermind and how that plays out. Now, if you have a decent sized group, and we're going to get into some depth, I like around a 3 hour to a 4 hour structure because we can get into some significant process there. Couple of other questions. Are these masterminds ever meant to start one business together? It's interesting you say that, Mary Beth, because I have seen people do that, and I've seen masterminds rolled out in new entrepreneurial ventures, but that is not really the prime driving force of it, but it certainly could be utilized in that manner. And in today's live training, I'm going to share a whole bunch of different ways in which people can actually apply different ways of masterminds. I'll share some models with you. That is certainly one that is a possibility. Okay, we got a whole nother realm of people, so let me just do my welcome again. Hey gang, you are at the pre-live training Q&A session, and if you are here and you would like for anyone who you know should be doing masterminds, should learn about masterminds, integrate masterminds into their life and business, I strongly suggest you share this link with them, which is mastermindtomillions.com live training. So feel free to hustle that along. All right, next questions. Are masterminds generally in person or can they be run virtually? You can do either or. And I really do believe that this is like the golden age of masterminds right now. And what I mean by that is your tribes are spread out around the planet. You don't need a ton of people. And you can do them online very, very successfully, as we have for many, many years. Can't see the slides. So somebody says you can't see the slides. So somehow it got jumped around there. Okay. Just give me a second, gang. There we go. That should be super helpful. Ta-da. Okay, thank you, brother. Okay, other questions. How much of a role do I play as a leader of a mastermind? Am I an observer with the group chosen leader, or do I chair things and move things along? So you chair things and move things along, absolutely, without a doubt. It is your job to stimulate the connection and to assist them to share network, resources, wisdom, experience, and to assist one another to evolve, grow, and tackle what is most important in their lives. And so you are absolutely a facilitator, you are absolutely a contributor, you are absolutely engaged in the relationships and let's call it stimulating the relationships as well. Can mentors also be participants? Yes, of course they can, and you just watch the line based upon the purpose of the group. And different groups have different purposes. And this is something I'm going to dive into in greater depth and detail, is that it is the positioning of the group, it is the promise of the group that is the answer to many of these questions. So the first thing you've got to answer, and by the way, we've had tons of questions come in. Many of the questions sound a little bit like this. It's like, okay, how do I structure it and how much do I charge? It's like, that's the wrong question. The right question is this, is what is the promise of the group? How are you going to fulfill that promise and give them 10 times the value that they pay? Now then we know a little bit about what the scenario of the price point is. Is there somewhere where you might be able to find a list of mastermind topic ideas? How specific or general should the focus be? Great question, Story. Short version is this, is that it should be epically specific, because the truth of the matter is, if you're going to start a mastermind, the positioning and the promise has to appeal to a very particular tribe. Mastermind topic ideas. I'm going to share 12 million of them with you. That could be from parenting to business owner to self-care for moms to writing, becoming an author and writing a book, to physical fitness, to spiritual well-being. I mean, if you can think of a topic, there can be a mastermind about it. Hey, Doris from Switzerland, would you please explain your business model that is behind your work with us? You are offering these services for free. What is your gain? Oh, absolutely, Doris. Simple and straightforward is this, is that we provide these online courses and this online training, and this is part of how we introduce people to our Launch Your Mastermind 90-day bootcamp. It is a 90-day training program that has about 10,000 additional resources that we invite people in through this process. So if this resonates with you and you know you're going to do masterminds, then we give you the whole thing to hold your hand for 90 days to get you up and running. Hope that answers your question clearly. Is a mastermind applicable for corporate businesses? Hell yes, Marie Agnes. Yes, I have done them every other, I can just tell you, wow. Anyway, let me say this really clearly, is that a mastermind is nothing more than a group of people coming together to serve and support one another. And gang, we just had about another 100 people jump on the line, so let me do the introduction. Hey gang, we are Jay Fazette here, and we are at the pre-live training Q&A session. Jump on in, type your questions in. I'll get through as many as I can in the next 6 minutes. We will be starting at 1 o'clock Pacific sharp. If there's anyone you think should join us, it's like, hey, I know somebody who should be doing this, you can share this link with them, which is mastermindtomillions.com live training. So if you got a business partner, somebody you did your coach training, you consult with, it's like they want to get to this, leave the one-on-one model behind and scale up, bring them on the line. We'll serve and support them to the best of our ability. None scheduled currently after tonight, Pamela, just to be clear. How to price the group participation way that is affordable yet promotes accountability? Again, I think it's Malka. I hope I'm saying that properly for you. It's impossible to talk about price intelligently unless we know the promise of the group, who it's targeted at, what is the outcome, what are those sorts of things going to happen. I have run masterminds for the past quarter century, as low as $97 a month, as high as $26,000 a year, and everything in between. But it depends on the positioning and the promise. Who's it for? What are they going to get out of it? What is the price point that I feel confident we can deliver 10 times that value? So we got to figure that out a little bit. I do see somebody who's having a little bit of audio trouble, so I want to just give you a little coaching, gang, about GoToWebinar. So top of the list is this. When you're having trouble, close absolutely everything else out. Do not serve Facebook. Do not have anything else open. Just have GoToWebinar open. Hardwire if you can plug into an Ethernet cable or something like that, do that. It makes a monumental difference. And the other thing that can also make a difference is just to restart your computer and then just launch GoToWebinar. It often solves all of those issues. I can tell you that our connection here is pretty much the best in the universe. It's like 70 megabits up and down or some crazy thing like that. So if you're having trouble, it's likely on your end. All right, my friends, what else can I answer for you? I can dive into a bunch of the other questions, but I always like to give an example, give priority to the people who are here early. Got you now? Okay, perfect. So let me answer a couple of the questions that were asked earlier or that have come in online, which is this. And I'd be curious, how many people here are planning on doing an entrepreneurial-based mastermind? So you're going to serve and support business owners, or that could be small business owners, that could be big business owners, but you're thinking about doing something in that entrepreneurial domain. Okay, so if you're thinking about that, here's what I would strongly suggest. make certain that your positioning is very clear. So who is your audience? So is it female entrepreneurs? Is it entrepreneurs who are in the process of moving from 5 figures to 6 figures? Are they entrepreneurs who are in the process of moving from six figures to 7 figures? Are they business owners who are just trying to get online, or do they have a bricks and mortar store? So the greater specificity you're going to be, the easier it is. And I just really want to be very clear with you that when you do that, that will make a monumental difference. And I just see a question, is will recordings be available? No, we don't do replays. We're live in person doing this thing. That's, I book my whole weekend off to be of service to you guys live and in person. So no recordings. All right, planning mastermind groups. Started that 2 weeks ago and it went fantastic. Beautiful. Business growth mastermind. Okay, perfect. Okay, gang. I think those are mainly it. We got 2 minutes left, a whole whack of other people. Hello, everybody. Jay Fazette here. We are just at the pre-live training Q&A session. If you have any specific questions, I'm happy to support before we get rolling in a whole minute and a half. Let's also talk to fill your masterminds. Participate. You do not speak about money, correct? Then on page 14, ask for the cash. What cash? When it was discussed before. Honestly, Doris, I don't know exactly what you're referring to in terms of asking for the cash. So let me just outline this. And by the way, if you have not downloaded and gone through the resources that we set up for you online, I strongly suggest it. One of the manuals is called Fill Your Masterminds with Ease. The internal code name we kind of play with is called Wine, Conversations, and Cash. And I think what you're getting at, Doris, and I want to be very clear about this, is that event is designed to build relationships. It is designed to connect with people. It is designed to create value for people. It is not a sales event. Now, what happens is this. When you contribute value and when you build those relationships, and you get to filter who's a right fit for your mastermind and who's not, is that the collecting of cash doesn't happen at that event. That is in the follow-up. So we make sure that they get the support that they need. We go out and say, hey, I run this particular mastermind. It's a powerful group of brilliant entrepreneurs who are up to moving from 6 figures to 7 figures, and I think that you might be a fit for it. And then you ask if they're interested, and then that's where that conversation goes. But it doesn't happen that night. I hope that makes some sense to you. Do you record online masterminds? Danielle, yes, we do for some and not for others, again, depending on the group. At the very high end, I often don't. It's like you make it or you don't make it, and that's how that goes. Is this webinar for those who already have a mastermind established? You know what? There's going to be a mixture on the line, so we'll have a little bit of everything, all of those pieces. All right, Doris, that made sense to you. Okay, we are now at 2 o'clock. I will just remind you one last time before we get moving and shaking, gang, that if you want anyone in your world, in your business to engage with this, you can very quickly share this link, which is mastermindtomillions.com/live training. They can jump on the line and I will do my best to serve, support, and connect with them. All right, let us get moving. So first and foremost, this is me. I'll give you a 2-second version of my who I am, what I do, all that fun stuff. And I'm going to set my alarm clock here because I want to keep us on time and make sure that we knock it out of the park in terms of results and experiences for you today. Here we go. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay, so I have been leading masterminds in some way, shape, or form for the better part of a quarter century. So this is not my first canoe trip. I didn't just sort of jump on the mastermind bandwagon. I've been at this for a very, very long time. My background is I have trained personal development programs for really 27 years. I am the author of a best-selling book called Reframe Your Blame. And I've had about 40,000 graduates, primarily in Western Canada, but people have flown from all over the world to participate in that time frame. So when I talk to you today in terms of what is going on, I just got to tell you this, is that it is from lived experience. And what my objective here today is to serve and support you to make a clear and conscious choice of, are you going to lead a mastermind? And, my fervent belief is you ought to be saying, hell yes. But I will make sure that you get the information for you to make a clear, intelligent choice that is rational and that feeds your soul. Because most of you on this line, you have a mission. You have a contribution to make. You actually are called to create something meaningful and to contribute to your tribe. And if you know and relate to that calling, just type in, I am called. So I want to know how many of you are really genuinely that this is not what you do, that this is who you are. And just as clear as I can say it, you are my people. You are my people. I could not have done this work for 27 years if I wasn't fortunate enough to be called at a young age. Anyway, what I want to just do very quickly so that we're on the same page here is give you a little bit of the story in the background and all of those fun, wonderful things. My book is pretty powerful. The difference that I've made in my clients' lives, in my community, all those sorts of things have caused, my dear friend Jack Canfield wrote this about it. It's a step-by-step guide that will help you to apply the first and most important success principle. Take 100% responsibility for your life. This book will raise your vibration, clarify your mission, and support you to genuine personal accountability. And my dear friend Brian Tracy, perhaps one of the eldest statesmen of the personal transformation and business transformation world, said this powerful practical book shows you how to liberate yourself from perhaps the greatest of all burdens to success. Now, the honest to God truth is I have a multitude of other testimonials from friends of mine, from associates I've worked with over the past 25 years. But I just need you to recognize that what I'm about to tell you and how I'm going to serve you is not some, masterminds are good. I'm going to make up an online course and that's not how this goes. I have trained hundreds of facilitators over the past 25 years. I have trained hundreds of coaches over the past 25 years. This is my wheelhouse and it's what I love. Hope that makes some good sense to you. And what I really, really love here is this whole scenario of oh, somebody's having technical difficulties. Sorry, man. And those things do happen at other places. There's no question. If you don't have a decent internet thing, no worries. So back to our point. I'm here to serve. I want to help you to make a clear and conscious decision. Now, give me an idea, gang. How many of you, when I asked you about if you're called, how many of you are also in this spot is like, in 2016, this is my year. This is the year that I'm going to roll out my mastermind. This is the year that I'm going to actually scale and grow my business. This is the year that I have been preparing for years. And now it is time to step up and perform. It is time to collect my tribe. It is time to inspire myself and my community and actually create the big work that I am up to. And if that resonates with you, then I want to hear a hell yeah from you and type it in our little scenarios. I want to make sure that we are on the same page. Because what I'm about to share with you is not for the lighthearted. It is not for the half-assed interested. It is not for the people sticking their toe in the water. It is for the people that are called, that are committed, and that are ready to actually take the stand, plant their flag, and serve their community. So that's what we're up to, plain and simple. Now, I want to be clear about this. I want to hear from you. Go back here. I have been working in the transformation world, for over a quarter century. It doesn't work for me to talk at people. That is not my deal, plain and simple. So this little window here, make sure that this window is on the top of your screen. If you chat back and forth here, you will find that my team will do their very best to answer everything that they possibly can. And what we're up to here, just as simple as I can say it, is a conversation. I will do my best to serve and support, but it's a conversation. So I want to hear from each and every one of you. Now, I want to tell you a little bit about masterminds and me and masterminds, and I need to ask you some questions, and you better get ready to have your fingers on the keyboard and type your little heart out, okay? So, me and masterminds, I've been at it for a very, very, very long time. But here's the thing. Currently, I am in a multitude of masterminds. Number one, the Association of Transformational Leaders. Now, of Southern California. I'm sort of the Canadian, I'm the token Canadian in that organization, but it is a powerful group of people that was started by Jack Canfield. It's amazing. We get to hang out together a couple times a year, and there's a multitude of other brilliant movers and shakers that you know well in the world. Christian Michelson, dear friend of mine, he runs something called the Joint Venture Summit Mastermind, which is one of my favorite things in the universe. In fact, I'm willing to bet many of you got here through people that I met through his. And Jeff Walker's Platinum Plus Mastermind. My business partner, Joshua, and I were recently accepted that. We've got our first big meeting at the end of January. We're very excited about it. It's going to be very cool. But not only am I a member of a bunch of masterminds, that's only 3, there's more, I lead a multitude of mastermind groups as well. One of which is called the Online Business Breakthrough. That helps bricks and mortar millionaire entrepreneurs build their online processes. I do something called the Banff JV Summit. We are branding that as JVology, the perfect mix of people, fun, and profit. And my premium mastermind, serving, supporting people for a year to build their businesses around masterminds and roll out premium masterminds, is called Lead, Accelerate Your Influence, Your Income. Now, I tell you this because I want to share with you my most fervent belief that I want you to adopt, entertain, and ideally, zap you so that it gets into your heart, mind, and soul is this, is that all coaches, entrepreneurs, experts should both participate in and lead masterminds, okay? Not either or. They should both participate in and lead masterminds because it is the fastest way to scale their business. It is the fastest way to contribute at scale. It is the easiest and most joyful way to break the time for money bind, and instead of getting paid for time, start getting paid for value. Now, I'm a little excited about this, as you might be able to tell. All right, here we go. My question's for you. And I want every single person, okay? I want every single person to respond to this if you would, please. So I know that you're busy, and I know some of you got Facebook open, and I know some of you are tweeting, and I know some of you are watching TV, and I know some of you got kids on your leg. But I want everyone to answer this question. And by the way, there's a couple. So I want you to be clear. If you're in a mastermind, you will type in. If you're leading a mastermind, you will type in leading. If you both lead and you are in one, you're going to type in both. And if you are not leading one and you're not in one, you will type in neither. So in, leading, both, neither. I want to see and hear from absolutely every person here so I can get a sense of who is doing what, and it will help me in terms of tailoring what I'm going to share with each of you, and get a sense of where we're starting from. So again, in, if you're in one, leading, if you're leading one, both, if you're doing both, and neither if it's neither. Ron, I'm sorry you're disappointed, but you can jump in or jump out. Both are good. Neither. Wow, there's an inordinate number of people here who are neither. Okay, a whole bunch of both, a whole bunch of in. That is fantastic. Okay, so we have a wide range here. Very, very wide range. In and leading for the first time. Okay, and a bunch of beginners. That's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. Okay, gang. So here's the thing. I am going to do two things. Number one, I'm going to ask you to stay to the end, and I'm going to bribe you. Okay, I am not above bribes. So the request is stay to the end, participate, put your focus and energy on this particular process, and I want you to put it here because this could be strategically one of the most single and most significant bits of strategy and execution for your business all year long. So I have a fantastic bonus, but it's only for those of you who stay till the end. And I want to be very clear about this. Do not email me and say, I almost stayed to the end, but then I didn't get it. We're not emailing this to anyone. You either stay, participate, put your ass on the line and do it, or don't. Both are good. So one of the most valuable tools in a mastermind group is something called the hot seat. Now, for those of you who aren't clear about this or you haven't been in one or leading them, the hot seat is when one person in the group comes with a goal or an issue. And we have a structure that the rest of the group serves and supports them to solve the issue, attain the goal. They share wisdom, experience, network, and resources. Okay, they share all of those things for the benefit of the person who is on the hot seat. Now, if you have ever been in a mastermind, you know that some hot seats are stunning and some hot seats ain't hot at all. They're more like a lukewarm bath or a cold shower, in fact. And if you've ever been on or in a group where you have seen a lukewarm bath or a cold shower that was supposed to be a hot seat, just type in that you've been in that spot. It's like cold shower or lukewarm, or I want to know if you've had this experience, because it is quite something. Now, after being a participant in a multitude of hot seats, yes, been there, lukewarm, brutally cold, okay. My wheelhouse is training facilitators and training coaches. And it was like, look, this is we cannot leave this to chance. So what I did was I designed a hot seat breakthrough strategy manual. I shared it with a variety of people that I was doing work with in EO, which is Entrepreneurs Organization. I've done it in a variety of the retreats that I have led. And this process actually really genuinely transforms me, lukewarm, to like screaming hot and fantastic. So here's the deal. If you jump on in, focus on this, participate, do the work, apply what I teach you, here's the deal. At the end of it, you will get that manual. And to be clear, I don't give this manual away. I don't sell this manual. It's not available elsewhere. How it got developed was originally through this process that we had internally. It was called Creation Circle Leaders, that people paid $5,000 and it was part of their training. So I did it there. I've done it with EO and not shared publicly. So you can get this. And it will, if you do this one thing, it'll take your masterminds from, what I'm going to call the marginal or the average to the exceptional. All you need to do is run this. So here's the deal. I will give you everything I've got in the time that we have to serve and support you to avoid the 3 mistakes that coaches and experts make launching masterminds. But I want you to also jump in, put your heart, mind, and soul in this, participate, engage, and at the end, I will give you this. If this is a deal, if you are in agreement, if you are willing to play, just type in, this is a deal. Beautiful. Both Jay Abrahams are boiling. Yes, I have seen Jay Abraham do those, and they can be stunning. Brilliant, brilliant man. There's no question. All right, gang. So let's start at the beginning because we have a bunch of people who are neither, and I want to make sure that we are perfectly clear. What is a mastermind? So mastermind was, the name mastermind was created by Napoleon Hill, the author of Think and Grow Rich. And what he did was he put a process together. He put a process together, or he named a process that when he was studying some of the richest and wealthiest and most brilliant people in the world, they all did. And he thought it was kind of odd. It's like, well, wait a second. Why is it the smartest, the richest, the most powerful are all doing this, but I haven't really heard about it elsewhere? And it became one of the fundamental premises of his book, Think and Grow Rich. Now, in a nutshell, a mastermind is nothing more than this. It's a small group of people that meet to grow, learn, evolve, and support one another. It can be on any topic, any meeting length, and virtually any format. Okay, please understand that if you're going to be doing this, you would structure the topic, the meeting length, and the format to fulfill the promise of your mastermind. That's what you do. Now, I want you to notice this, and this is vitally, vitally important. Part of the magic of masterminds is this. No 2 minds ever come together without thereby creating a third invisible and intangible force, which may be likened to a third mind. Now, think of it from this perspective, is that in a real mastermind group, what we're talking about is this. A group of people who stand for the best in one another, even when the other person can't stand for the best in themselves, because we all have these ups and downs. Where we stand for the results that they want, for the experiences that they want, for the contribution that they want to make. And we do our very best to hold ourselves and themselves accountable for creating those results and experiences in their lives. So in the space of standing for the best in one another, magic and miracles happens. Now, I want to be very clear in terms of I have no religious attachment or any of those sorts of things. So you might be a Christian, you might be a Muslim, you might be a Buddhist, heck, you could be a nudist. Doesn't matter to me. But I do think that there's an interesting phrase that is spoken about in many religions, and I'll just use Christianity for this example, is that Jesus said, whenever 2 or more people come together in my name, I am there. And I'll say it in a more sort of layperson term. Whenever 2 people come together with the foundation of love, there is another third mind. There is God, spirit, universe, great aardvark in the sky, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't matter to me. But make no mistake about it. There is magic that occurs when we come together in a foundation of love, doing our best to serve, support, and assist other human beings, plain and simple. Now, what that really means in a nutshell is at its core, masterminding is a spiritual process. Even if your mastermind is very mechanical and technical, at its core, when we are working together in this dynamic, there is a spiritual dynamic that happens. So for those of you who get and understand and have experienced this magic of the spiritual process that occurs when we are in that space, I would love for you to just type in a yes or a hell yeah, you know what I'm talking about. And by the way, every single one of you, because I want to know how many of you have had this experience, because when you've had this experience, that is what you are actually creating for your tribe. That is the service, that is the support, that is the connection. So some have, some haven't. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Yes, no, maybe. Okay. I've had this experience in other contexts. Yes, absolutely. It is not limited to masterminds. Masterminds just happens to be one vehicle. Got it, got it, got it. Okay, so on we go. That is the summary of what a mastermind is. Again, any topic, any meeting length, small group of people dedicated to serving and supporting one another. Now, you might be thinking, that's all well and fine, but how the hell do I make money at that? And if any of you have that question, or you're wondering about that, just put in little dollar signs. Put in little dollar signs so I can resonate or get a sense of who is in that spot. Okay, so I give you my word, I'm going to show you how you can monetize this, why it is one of the most powerful ways to scale and grow your business and to serve your tribe, to step up, to create what's most important. All right. One last foundational piece before we jump into our process, the $160,000 dinner party. Now, who here would be interested in learning how to, in 3 short hours, having dinner with a group of brilliant people, earn $160,000? And if you are interested in hearing that story, then I haven't even said it yet. And I've got about, I don't know, I'm going to guess I've got about 30. Oh, hell yes. Bring it on. Yep. Okay. Yeah, I don't know. Actually, there's only about, we probably need another 150 of those to say yes. Okay. Now, I'm teasing you, obviously. But what I want everyone to just connect with for a brief moment is how many of you have I'm going to call it a tendency to make things hard, a tendency to value the tough work, the many hours, the difficult challenge, the capacity to overcome. And if that speaks a little bit to you, that you have I just have to read this back. Here, here, pick me. That's true. Damn it, yes. Oh my God, yes. So I appreciate your sense of humor, gang. So the reason I want to tell you this story is I want you to hold on to this idea as we go through our training today, that this could be easy, that this could be the simple process that sets you free, that stops the struggle, that just emphasizes serving your people, making the difference that you know you are here to make, that you are called to make. All right, so here's how this goes, and I want to tell you the entire story because it is very important. So I trained a facilitator years ago. His name was Colin, one of the smartest guys I've ever met in my entire life. I am deeply grateful to him eternally. He goes away and does a bunch of work for YEO, which was Young Entrepreneurs Organization. They since changed the name because a bunch of the entrepreneurs got old, from what I can tell. And yes, I may resemble that remark. But he comes back from opening up the Eastern Bloc, Russia, for EO, and comes back and says, look, I want to do a high-end mastermind. I want there to be a foundation of personal development. You're the best in the world that I know at it, and this is how this should go. So he describes this entire process. We're going to target basically independent, strong alpha males who have built $3 to $15 million annual sale businesses, who have gotten trapped in their business, and we're going to serve and support them by doing quarterly retreats where they can get out of their lives onto the balcony to see strategy, and we are going to build a network and a tribe of some of the smartest men like them to help them scale and step up to the next aspect and step of their lives. Great. We talk about it. He asks me to partner. I say yes. Once we're in, I say, great. I'll get my graphic designer, start the website. We'll get some business cards going on. We'll do all the traditional stuff to start a brand to do this work. And he says, nah, I don't think we're going to do any of that. And I say, what the hell do you mean we're not going to do any of that? And he says, well, we're really only talking about, to start with, 10 people. We don't, that's an awful lot of work for 10 people. Here's what I think we should do. I've got a couple people already interested. Let's profile exactly who we want in this tribe. Let's talk to them, invite them to dinner. We will give them a one-time offer, which is, this is the vision of this community. This is who's going to be in this community, or people like this. And this is the only time we're ever going to ask you if you want to participate or not. And if you do, you'll pay and play. If you don't, all good. Don't let the door hit your ass on the way out. So it seems a little bit odd to me at the time. I got to tell you, it was like, geez, I don't know. It was like, I'm a little concerned about it. And he said, well, let's just do it. Worst that could happen is we have dinner with a bunch of great people. Best thing that could happen is we could fill our mastermind. So We all get together and we target exactly who we want in there. Some of whom we knew, some of whom we had relationships with, some of whom we did work with in the past, some of whom we didn't have a clue about, but we'd been told is this guy. We invite all 10 of them for dinner. And here's what happened. In 3 hours, simply sharing the vision of what it is that we wanted to do, the positioning and the promise of our mastermind, and building the beginning of relationships with the people who were there, all 10 said yes and paid $16,000. Now, a little just kind of funny sidebar. I don't know if any of you have ever, in the dating game where you had a backup plan to escape and all those sorts of things. So we're about halfway through, and this one guy comes over, pulls us over, and says, "Hey, I didn't really know what was going on here exactly, and I made other plans because I just didn't think I'd be that interested. And I don't really get all of the details of it, but I just need to tell you, I'm in. Here's my credit card. We'll handle the mechanics tomorrow. It's all good. I'm in." And off he goes. So we even sold somebody that fundamentally wasn't even there, for crying out loud. So here's the thing I want to ask you, and I'm going to ask everyone here. Actually, Susie has a very good question, so I will answer this question. So why only men? That's a tremendous question, because this entire process was built on quarterly retreats. So we traveled to South Africa. We went skiing in Telluride. We went to up north in cabins and those sorts of things. So what we wanted to be very clear about is that this was a business/personal development process, and we did not want any weird dynamics about spouses, husbands, wives, saying, "I don't want you going because there's a bunch of women there and you guys are going to be sharing space together," and all that stuff. So we just drew the line saying, we're not going to make space for any, jealousy or other reasons that people might resist participation, and simply make it men. By the way, we supported another woman to do one that was only women, but we didn't want those two things mixing up. Susie says, "Now I believe you're live." We're live. We would not, and just one of those things, gang, just to be very clear about this. If we say is live, is live. That's how that goes. I mean, it makes no sense to BS about stuff like that. Do you ever mix them up? Yes, absolutely, Nicole, we do. But we are very clear about the purpose and the promise and what we're doing, what the travel is, and how all of those things are structured. So going back to this whole piece, I want to ask you this question. Why did that work? Why did that work? Because again, we didn't do it traditionally in any way, shape, or form. No business card, no website, no big structure, no big office, no nothing. Why did it work? Well, intensity, relationship first, focus. Because, Heloise, you are brilliant. That is, all of these things are true. But I got to tell you, one of the most important things is this: because we were promising something they wanted. I cannot overestimate that. We were promising something we wanted. We had a very particular promise that was aimed at a very particular profile, and those two things were like two magnets sticking together. It's like, I am stuck in my business. I'm scaling my business. I built it alone. I don't have anybody to talk to. I get pissed off because none of my family understands what I'm going through. And all I want to do is talk to somebody and to communicate with somebody who has a clue about what I built and what my both celebrations are and what my challenges are. And for crying out loud, it'd be nice to take a break once in a while. A couple of these guys, and this is a good example of our profile, a couple of these guys had built very successful businesses, had the home on the lake for the family to go to for summer, and the family is at the lake during the summer water skiing and having fun, and they're at the office working, being pissed off about it. That was our profile. So we meshed those things very, very well. It answered need. You knew they had absolute mutual accountability, clarity, purpose, and promise, all of those things, vision. So yes, relationship, vision, the value our team brought, the clarity of the tribe, the outcome, all of those pieces. So what I need you to understand is this: hyper-targeting, because that's what we call this, hyper-targeting, which is targeting a specific need with a specific tribe and bringing those things together in the process of a mastermind. You could have your mastermind up and running like this. Now, how many people here, and I want to be very, very clear about this, how many people here think it's like, man, you know what? I could do that. I could do a 6-figure dinner and I could change the rest of my life. If you think that you could do that, I want you to type in that, yes, I could totally do this. Some say nope, some say yes, some say I can do this. Now, how many people, question mark, how many people here it's like, Yeah, Todell, you're probably right about that. Not without training, and that is one of the things that I'm willing to support you with, and that is what this day is about, and that is what our Mastermind Bootcamp is about. So let's set the money aside, because for many of you, how many of us like, I don't know anyone who's going to write a $16,000 check? Come on. Uh, so, and Nico, we're going to talk about that in a moment. So, yes, a bunch of okay. So I get that. Now, here's my question to you: could you do this if the offer was for $97 a month? How many of you think you could do exactly the same thing and the offer not be for $16,000 but for $97 a month? Probably. Yes, yes, yes. Well, of course. Okay. So here's the thing I want you to understand is the process is no different. And I have done exactly this same thing for $97. I've done it for $297 a month. I've done it for $500 a month. I've done it for $1,000 a month. I've done it for $15,000 a year. I've done it for $24,000 a year. I've done it for $26,000 a year. The price point makes no difference because we've got to start with where we are at. Where do we have influence? What is our expertise? What is the positioning of our group? And I give you my word, it doesn't matter what the price point is. What matters is the promise and the match of the need to the promise. Are you with me? Give me a hell yeah if you get it. Okay, beautiful. Okay, hell yeah, beautiful. So here's the point. Here's what I'd actually ask each of you to do. So I'd like you to just take a moment, and if you're a visualizer, actually, you just like close your eyes and see yourself in the spot, sitting at a table of people that you love, people that you respect, people that you admire, people that you want to serve, people that it is important for you to get behind. And I want you just to imagine you describing what your mastermind is, the kind of people that would be there, the results that they would experience, the experiences that they would have, the relationships that they would build. And then you confidently and clearly say whatever your price is. And it's $97 a month, it's $1,000 a month, it's $20,000 a year. And you just see the people around the table smile because they know that that is an absolute bargain for what it is that you are offering, that you'll 10x that for them. And they all say yes. They all say yes. Just tell me how that would feel. Now, would it make a measurable difference in your life? Whatever your price point is. Yes, it'd be ecstatic. It'd be stunning. So this is what we're talking about. This is the service and the contribution and the abundance that you deserve. So that feeling of, I'm going to read bliss, relief, ecstatic, joy, brilliant, terrific. I want you to hold on to that feeling as I go through teaching you the rest of today. So, are you with me? Give me a hell yeah if you're with me, and let's get on with the program. And I'm going to motor, by the way, gang, because we got a lot to cover. It would feel fabulous. So hold on to that because it could be that easy. I will teach you how to make it that easy. I have done it that easily a multitude of times. So let's talk about the 3 massive mistakes that experts and coaches make launching mastermind groups and how you can avoid them and add 6 figures to your bottom line. All right. Notice I said bottom line, not top. That's a big deal. I'm going to count these things down, reverse chronologically. Now, I do want to share with you, tell me the truth, gang. Tell me the truth. The free online training that starts with the Rapid Growth Report, goes to the Mastermind Mentors Manual, and goes to Fill Your Mastermind with Ease. A multitude of people have told me that the free content that we give online is actually better than a multitude of paid programs in the mastermind arena in the past. So, who here, and tell me the truth, who here has actually gone through all of them already? If you've gone through all of them and you've watched the videos, give me a done it. So type in done it. Now, if you haven't, I understand all the rest of it, but I do want you to make certain that you do it because it'll make a monumental difference. Now, do not do it now, okay? Please hear this. Do not do it now. There is a link here if you've missed any of them for any reason, and that is mastermindtomillions.com/all access. But don't go there now. The video is going to play all that stuff, but it is there for you. Go get it. And I want you to absolutely go through that. Like, do it. It will make a monumental difference. So just, and by the way, I want to say this as clear as I can say it. Um, Susie, you were quite probably right. Susie says, LOL, I'm thinking that you're nuts and that we'd get on really well. Of course I'm nuts. Who else would do stuff like this if they weren't nuts? Okay, so mastermindtomillions.com/all access. And I want to be very clear with this. I am not going to answer any more questions about the manual. We're not going to chit chat about it. We're not going to say, where is it? Any of that shit. We're not answering any more of those questions. Put this little link in your little text box or whatever the case be, and you will go to it after. Full stop, go do it. We're done. Are we clear? Okay, beautiful. So the third massive mistake that experts and coaches make when launching mastermind groups. Can you put in the link? Yes. Team Kelly, please put in the link there. I trust you have it. Is lack of commitment. This is the thing that kills more masterminds than you can possibly shake a stick at. So we're going to go through what these things are and how you can deal with them and what will make the most monumental difference. Here is the very first thing, and I've already alluded to it in the $160,000 dinner party story, but here is the part that will make the most difference in the commitment for your masterminds. It is to reverse the psychology of selling, both ours and theirs. Now, I want to be very clear about this. We cannot reverse the psychology of selling of theirs before doing ours first. Now, I can't tell you how many people I have heard say things like this. It's like, well, I just need like 3 more people for my mastermind. So I'm just like trying to find the right people. And if I could sell just 3 more, it'd all be good. And every time somebody says to me that they're trying to sell their mastermind, my radar sticks up and gets a little bit worried. And I'm just to be clear about this, I'm not worried for them. I'm worried for their participants. I'm worried for their participants because this is scarcity. This is scarcity. And when people are coming from that space, they do silly things. They don't vet the group properly. They don't put them through a proper application process. They're trying to sell versus selecting and creating a conscious, amazing, and astounding community. So here is the thing. And this is, honest to goodness, if you just took this today, and I'm going to give you about 10,000 more nuggets. If you just took this today and you actually did it, your masterminds would be stunningly better. Here's the deal. You're going to stop selling your masterminds. In fact, for those of you who are in this spot, I want you to type that in. I agree to stop selling my masterminds. I will not sell my masterminds. Type it on in. I want to see that you actually hear me and get this. And instead of selling masterminds, what you are is this, is that you are the gatekeeper to a powerful, intimate, and significant community that people cannot buy their way in. They cannot bribe their way in. They cannot kiss your ass to get in. They must fit the profile. They must contribute to the group. They must fit the culture, and that is the only way that they can get in. And the second you shift yourself from I'm trying to sell a mastermind to I am the gatekeeper of a powerful, important, and significant community, and I will not jeopardize that community for anything, as soon as you really get that heart, mind, and soul, guess what happens? You clearly and powerfully, and quite often, simply say, no, sorry, you're not a match. No, I'm not sure if you are or not. Now, the second that we start saying no and we take the role of gatekeeper, guess what happens? People who are conditioned when they're being chased to say, no, not interested, no, not interested, no, not interested. As soon as we stop chasing and put a gate and a qualifier in place, guess what? Now suddenly it's like, wait a second, what is that? I think that's supposed to be for me. I should be in that. How dare they said no to me? What the hell's the matter with them? And what happens is instead of the default no's, we start getting, can you tell me about that? That might actually be something that I would be interested in. But here's the deal. You have to genuinely get yourself into this spot where you are the gatekeeper. So if you just start putting yourself in that position, it'll make a monumental difference. All right. Now, I've already said this, so I'm not going to beat this to death, but that $160,000 dinner party happened, and I'm sorry, we've got a few hundred people on the line here, and I can't remember exactly who said it, but somebody said we gave them what they wanted. Yes, we did give them what we wanted. We designed a specific process, structure, group, promise, and to travel for exactly what it is that they wanted. So the single most significant thing is instead of trying to sell somebody into a mastermind, you offer what they want, and then you make them qualify to get it. I'm going to say that again. You give them what they want, and you make them qualify to get it. Once that happens, everything else shifts. Everything else shifts. So I trust you get this. I'm not going to say more about it. We talked about it a bunch in that particular process. Now, here's the other thing about this. I asked earlier how many people want to run a premium mastermind group, and a bunch of you said yes. Yahoo! I am thrilled for you. That rocks. I also want to be very clear here that you don't need to charge $16,000. You don't need to charge $10,000. You don't need to even charge $1,000 a month or any of those things. Start with what you can create and deliver. That is a promise that your tribe wants. And it can be any price under the sun. But that's where you start. And time and again, here's one of the things that happen, and this is where people end up trying to sell something and creating this lack of commitment, is that people try to go past their own capacity and their own influence. Start there, for goodness sakes. Okay, we got a motor. Now, I already said this, stop chasing people, so we've already said that. Now, are you interested in, as soon as you start doing the gatekeeper piece, and you totally genuinely get this, are you interested in one of the easiest ways in the universe to filter your people? Give me a hell yes if you want that. That's not enough hell yeses. I think we'll just skip by that part. Okay, next slide. Yeah, wait. Okay, so this is a test, gang, to see if you are actually here and participating. I said I would be. I expect you to be too, okay? No. You guys are cute. Okay, here it is. I'm going to ask you to do an assignment. Here's the assignment. You are going to come up with 3 statements that communicate clearly. And by the way, I know some of you don't have a mastermind yet, but if you do, or if you're about to start, you're going to imagine what your mastermind is or what your mastermind will be. And you're going to communicate 3 clear statements of this is not for you if, and this is for you if. Now, please understand, your purpose here is to polarize a little bit, okay? It is to get people to take a stand and to say, oh, yeah, that's not for me. That's not my thing. I don't like personal development. I don't want to be in any of that touchy-feely bullshit where somebody's going to hug me. I'm not doing that, okay? So this is not for you if you don't like to hug. This is not for you if, like, polarize people, because here's the thing. The clearer and the more powerful you are in your polarization, guess what? The easier it is to fill your mastermind. And I need you to be clear. All you need is 8 to 10 people. And to get those 8 to 10 people, guess what? You're going to have to push away a whole hell of a lot more. So you've got to drive that point home really, really, really well. Okay, now, this is not for you if, this is for you if. Okay, and I'm going to actually ask you to do it right here and right now. Okay, so I'm going to give you an example. So this is for the Launch Your Mastermind 90-Day Bootcamp. So this is a program that I'm going to invite you to that is stunning and powerful. But just to be clear about this, Launch Your Mastermind 90-Day Bootcamp is for you if you want to add leverage and income into your business. If you get that speed and ease equal income, that, by the way, is a big one. Not everyone gets that. And if you are done reinventing the wheel and doing it the hard way. If you're just ready to follow the steps and make it easy, for goodness sakes. Now, this, by the way, is not for you if you're too broke or busy to invest in leverage. It just always kills me. It's like, oh, I'd love to do that, but I'm just too busy. It's like, for crying out loud, this is the solution to less busyness. This is one-to-many instead of one-to-one. This is the solution to the problem. They go, oh, yeah, but I'm just too busy. I couldn't possibly do that. It would be just too... Next. If you want to figure it out on your own, again. Or if you're not committed to mastering group facilitation skills. So these are my examples. Now, I'd love to hear a couple from each of you. So this is for you if, and this is not for you if. So give me some examples. I'll share them because sometimes just getting our wheels turning on this makes a monumental difference, gang. Now, if you believe that you can do it all by yourself, or if you have all the answers, those are cool ones. Give me some others. If you have a business less than 3 years old, now it is for you. There we go. If you want to really break through and want to contribute and work with other motivated people, if you have a business that's less than 3 years old, I'm with you now. This is not for you if you don't want to work on self. This is for you if you are committed to building your influence, impact, and income. Love the name, James. This is not for you if you are not committed to your personal growth and that of others. This is not for you if you believe that other people are responsible for your problems. This is for you if you're ready to stand out in your industry, if you aren't open to personal development. This is not for you if you're not a team player. Okay, so these are all pretty darn good. I'm going to say as a generalization, if you can make them even more polarizing, like take an even louder stand, it will assist you. But I do want you to just really get that when we're talking about being the gatekeeper, you need to have conversations around the gatekeeper. So this is for you if you might be able to get past. This is totally not for you if, and you can't even approach the gate if this is what's going on for you. So crafting these three in a powerful, clear, and meaningful manner is game changing. I give you my word. Okay. Timing wise, we got to hustle here. I'm going to have to motor as fast as I can here, gang. So I'm going to give you, in a very short span of time, 7 ways to build commitment in a mastermind. So these are methods. Now, in the Launch Your Mastermind 90-day bootcamp, we provide, good God, I've lost count, to be honest, because we keep refining and adding. It's somewhere in the neighborhood of like 15 different specific methods to build commitment. So I'm going to go through these fast. Price. Price can be a monumentally big deal. Generally speaking, the higher the price, the greater the commitment. Little side note for those of you who are targeting high-end clients, there are also high-end troublemaker clients who the price doesn't matter. They think that if I just paid $50,000, then my work is done here. Deliver the results. So some entitled people with a bunch of money sometimes fall in that category. Be careful of them. Run like hell. Do not let them into your community. Their money ain't worth it. I give you my word, personal experience. You must have an application form, and on that application form, you have to ask the tough questions, the ones that they may not want to answer. So, for example, in the entrepreneurial world, we don't just ask sales, we ask profit, because lots of people are like, oh, I've got a 7-figure business. How much money you make? I'm losing about X number of dollars a year. So you ask the tough questions. And by the way, you never, ever, 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 under any circumstances, let people skip the application. Recipe for disaster. Yes, you must have contracts. In the Launch Your Mastermind 90-day bootcamp, honestly, 2 things that are worth the price of the whole program are sample application forms that we call it R&D, rip off and duplicate, take our stuff, move it out, fix it with yours, and contracts as well. Those 2 pieces will make a monumental difference. I'm about to tell you the single, number 1, most significant thing that will increase commitment in your masterminds. And I'm going to spend a moment on this one here. Powerful vision. And I'll tell you a mistake that I made. And by the way, I've made a lot of them. And part and parcel of this program is equal parts. This is what's worked and knocked it out of the park for me. This is what was an utter and complete fiasco on wheels. So when I started running masterminds eons ago, I had this crazy assumption that people knew why they were coming to the mastermind and they had a clear vision for the mastermind. That was wrong, plain and simple. It was wrong. Lots of times people came to the mastermind because they were a little bit lost and confused about things. So here's what we do. And this is a very important process. We give you the forms and the manuals and the structure for this, of course, in the program. But here's the first thing. At the beginning of a mastermind, you assist them to get clear about the 3 most important goals that they are going to create and make real in their life. Okay? And just to be clear about this, it's not 1, and it's not 4, and it's not 7. It's 3. Just trust me on this. So they get very clear about the 3 most important goals that they're going to create in their life. Then they've got their goals, and then they've got their mastermind group. Our job here is to embed in an NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, in our heart, mind, and soul, that the method and the means to create these 3 goals is the people, the network, the resources, and the structure and the support of the mastermind. And that these 2 things are necessary together. Now, I want to be very clear about this. You would think that people, number 1, would know what it is that they want. They don't. You would think that if we set the goals at the beginning, that people would remember the goals and stay on track with it. They don't. Most people are more squirrel-like. It's like, oh, I set a goal. What was that goal? Where's the goal? Did I do any work on the goal? I hope the goal happens. What was that goal again? People have very short attention spans, and it's getting worse and worse and worse as our world is changing faster and faster. So what we do is we build a process that embeds their 3 goals with a powerful vision through pledges and anchoring, public displays that help get their team, their business partners, their kids, their family on board with what these 3 goals are, and public declarations that create a ton of leverage about actually making it happen. And we teach all of those things actually in the process of the bootcamp. Here's just an example of one of the both public displays and declarations and anchoring all rolled into one. Is the people who are in my lead, so that's my premium program, they get titanium rings that have the word lead written on them 3 times, which represent lead myself, lead my tribe, lead the world. And it is all of these things woven in together. If you can do that well, the rest of this becomes absolutely a cakewalk. Okay, so if you understand these 7 ways of building commitment, type in "I'm committed" or some version thereof. I've got it. So that's not lead as in heavy metal then. um, I did buy the rings from China. I hope they're not lead. We shall see if any of them keel over dead from lead poisoning. No, they're titanium rings, and yes, it is lead, not lead. Okay, you got it. Beautiful. Committed. Okay. So again, that's just 7 of them. We'll give you, I think it's at least another 7 or 8 of those in terms of specific structures, processes that make all the difference in the world. And this is things that people just gloss over in the structure of it, and it causes difficulties. All right, moving on. The second massive mistake that coaches and trainers make when launching masterminds. And this one seems obvious, but it's not. And it is this: not having a professional leader. So often what I see is this: people wanting to share it. It's like, well, I'll set it up, and then me and my friend will do it, and then you guys will come and review a book, and then we'll do it together. And then stop it. I have never once in 27 years seen a model like that be sustainable. On the other hand, I can tell you that I have members of mastermind groups that have been with me for over 20 years. So when I'm saying this will work, trust me, it will work. So one person, and that person needs to have group facilitator training experience. So how many of you here have some facilitator training experience? And that could be formal training. That could be you did something in a volunteer world. That could be you lead some groups at church or a community association or some version thereof. Yeah. Wow, that rocks, by the way. Love it, love it, love it. A bunch of you who are certified by the International Association of Facilitators, that rocks. Okay, so just I want to tell you this, is that if you have that experience, then you are you're on a fast track to lead your mastermind and to lead it really, really well. Those of you who don't have any training, please understand this. In the Launch Your Mastermind 90-day bootcamp, we have an entire module that will teach you the basics of it, and we help you practice those skills. But honest to goodness, if you are going to lead a mastermind, you must dedicate yourself to improving and enhancing your group facilitation skills. I've been at that for 27 years, and I still practice consistently. I still get support and feedback. I still enroll in programs where I go to learn how to lead. It is one of the most powerful things under the sun. So that rocks. Okay, now here's the next piece. One of the reasons why you must have facilitator training is that where people go awry, and I want to be very clear about this, is that what it looks like for most people is that, oh, the commitment in the group, it just sort of fizzled. People got busy, or they just didn't seem to follow through. Here's a more accurate and honest statement. It wasn't that the commitment fizzled. It is that the leadership and the facilitating and the management of the group and the dynamics of the people in the group was so poor that they couldn't deal with the ups and downs of the group dynamics, and they didn't know how to do it, and they didn't know how to create a safe space, and they didn't know how to call people out. So you've got to enforce the agreements in the agenda. You've got to deal with conflict. And let's tell the honest God truth about it. Any of you a little creeped out about dealing with conflict? Most of us as human beings are to some degree. Absolutely. But here's the part I need you to understand, and this is why a little facilitator training goes an awfully long way. In a mastermind group, there will be conflict. You can count on it. Put more than 2 breathing human beings together in the same room, there'll be some rubs. Put 8 or 10 of them, there'll be a lot of rubs. So you've got to deal with conflict. But here's the thing I want you to understand. The conflict is often one of the biggest opportunities for learning and how we really create the magical and monumental results over time. Okay, so we give you the tools, the resources, and the structure for that to occur in the community. And when it happens, magic happens in the group every single time. Now, the facilitator must also handle the environment. So that is, of course, the physical environment, but it's also the mental, emotional, spiritual environment. How we come to the group, what our state is, how we contribute, how we support one another, how we acknowledge one another, how we make space to bring in a new member, how we draw the line and say, you can't be like that here, so you either step up or you go away. Both are good. That is one of the most important roles here, is that what you are actually doing as a facilitator is that you are creating, teaching, and holding a context and a container for the culture of your group. Do it well, and you will be unbelievably rewarded. Do it poorly, and you'll have an empty room and non-existent masterminds. Straight as I can say it. And the last piece you need to do is manage expectations. because people have short attention spans and make up stories in their head that have nothing to do with what was being said, which is why you need contracts and you need agreements and you need applications and you need processes, and you need to remind them over and over again, this is what we do, this is what we don't do. No, we don't do that, we do this. And that's your job. And it sounds a little bit silly and fun and entertaining, and it's a pain in the ass at the beginning, but once the culture is set, that's where the magic rolls. Okay, that's number 2. Are you ready for number 1? Number one, if you're ready. There's not enough people for number 1, unfortunately. Did you guys take a holiday when I started talking about facilitating? Earth to participants, come back and say you're ready, or else we'll just skip number 1. You probably didn't need that one anyway. It's only the most important. By the way, some of the jokes are just for me. I have my pen ready. Love it. Okay, here it is. And by the way, it is related to the other 2. These are all on a theme. And the single number 1 reason why masterminds fail is this: weak or non-existent structure. It is one of the reasons why I gave you the Mastermind Mentors Manual. And by the way, that's just one structure. That's a structure for 4-hour meetings that happen on a monthly basis with a group of 8 to 12 people. That's it. It's just one structure. But let me be clear about this. You got that as a doc file so that you can copy and paste, so that you can move things around, so you can create your own manual, so that you can tweak it for your culture, for the structure that you want to have. Because here's the truth of the matter. If you do not have a solid structure and you do not have the skills to facilitate to stick to the structure, here's what happens. Your mastermind group devolves into coffee, tea, or beer. That's what happens. Without structure, it sets us up for unmet expectations, which is the kiss of death in a mastermind. On top of that, it does not allow for planning for natural resistance. I'm going to talk about the planning for natural resistance in a moment or two. This is unbelievably important. And final is that all of these things, without structure, it creates our enemy, which is lack of commitment. Now, tell me the truth. How many of you have been in a mastermind group that fizzled because of lack of structure? Devolve means start good and become crappy. It devolves instead of evolves, which is start here and we evolve up. Devolve is exactly the opposite. So yes, I've been there, been in that spot, you've been in that spot. Somebody says I'm actually leading one, it tanked. Okay, so whoever it is that said they were leading one, because there's, I've got hundreds of comments here. I really want you to number 1, go back to the Mastermind Mentors Manual. I want you to, for goodness sakes, register for the Launch Your Mastermind 90-day program, and we will teach you all the things to get that thing back on track if it's not too late. Devolving is our experience. The group I'm in is consistent and very well structured, and I love it. Hallelujah. I so love hearing that. Okay, I got to draw something really fast here, gang. And this is one of the pieces that I want you to understand in terms of the dynamics of a group. So we're going to do this and this. The long one here is time. This dotted line is going to represent 0. Up here is plus 10. Down here is minus 10. Now, let's imagine that you just got accepted into a mastermind group that you were really excited about and you were just moving in like, where would your excitement and engagement level be? On a scale of minus 10 to plus 10, give me where you would be. 10, 10, 10, 10, 10, plus 10, 9, 12, 21, 7. Some people managing their expectations. Okay, 100 plus. Okay, beautiful. So you get the idea. So for most of us, we start pretty darn high. And we start up here and it's all going to be excellent and great and amazing. And then this human thing happens is we begin the dip. Now, what I want you to understand is that this dip here, and actually I'm just going to draw it first and then we'll come back and talk about it. So this goes back up. Hopefully it's a little bit longer. The show hopefully is not quite as deep. Goes back up. Okay, so this process here is what we're going to call the dip. That's an I in there, believe it or not. That's the dip. It happens in all relationships. Okay, it happens in all relationships. If you're interested, look up a book called The Couple's Journey by Dr. Susan Campbell. It's louder in larger groups in terms of how this process occurs. Now, in the dip, there are 7 pieces that you will look for and that we will teach you to identify so that you can manage this better. But what happens in the dip here? Give me examples of what shows up in your mastermind group. What do you have to deal with? People not showing up, apathy, excuses, conflict, attitude, people are late, people disappear. People don't disappear yet, Max. You're on the right track, but it's a little bit later. So this is where people start by withholding. Then they're a little bit late. And then they didn't do their homework. And then they've got an excuse because Mercury's in Gatorade. And something else, not coming prepared. Exactly, those sorts of things. Big egos. Yes, it's like, all that stuff. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Impatience, yes. Disheartening. A grounding of judgment. You're all on the right track. Okay, so that dip happens. Now, by the time we get to here, which is like +2 down to, let's call it -5 or 6, this is where people are just outright blaming. This is where they don't show. This is where they leave, okay, if we don't handle it. Now, this process here, we're going to call the turn. Now, here's what I need you to understand. If you're going to bring a group of people together, is that your mastermind, and I don't care if your mastermind is about becoming a best-selling author, I don't care if your mastermind is about personal development or spiritual evolution or business or sales or online marketing or any of those sorts of things, here's one of the most important pieces in the universe, is within the group, you guys help each other to recognize the dips and to consciously manage the turns. And if you do it well together as a group, you'll notice that, wait a second, I stay up and on track even better. I'm able to identify what are my individual and what are our group triggers for the dip. And I'm easier and faster able to manage my turn so that I don't spend all of my time down here in the space of blame, judgment, resistance, stuck, all of those pieces. This is the big picture of what's actually going to happen in a mastermind group. This is part of the magic of coming together in a group of people who care and want to serve and support one another. This is the hot stuff right here. Now, if you can't manage the dips and the turns, and this is why we have structure, this is why we must do, somebody's laughing at my Mercury and Gatorade. My dear sister is an astrologist and I tease her all the time. So if you're an astrologist, it's not to bug you, it's actually a little bit of entertainment I have with my sister. If you can't do this, then your mastermind group will be in trouble. And you probably shouldn't actually even start one, to be perfectly frank with you. But if you have structure, if you're willing to commit yourself to doing facilitator development and ongoing facilitator development for skills, and if you're willing to put the foundational work in to create the proper commitment, even before the mastermind starts, then you, my friend, will have a mastermind that will make your heart sing, that will serve your tribe in beautiful and stunning ways. That little visualization I asked you to do at the beginning, when these things are in place, everybody says yes to your first offer. It's like, we're going to go do this. And because these 3 things are in place, those people tell their friends. And you don't need a whole bunch of referrals. All you need is a couple. And your second group is done, and your third group is done, and your fourth group is done. And let me share a little story about what happened with our group of 10 people at $16,000. Is the value of that group was so strong that we ultimately increased it to $24,000. And that 10 people referred us to another 22 people at $24,000 a year. And we ran 4 groups of people, all in that arena, all in that same space, all the same profile, all the same promise. I'm going to let you do the quick math of what 32 people times $24,000 a year is. Now, you don't have to do it at that rate. You can do 32 people at $100 a month, and you'd still make fantastic money. All of those things are possible. So, deep breath in, my friends. Just take a deep breath in. Hold it and let it go. One more deep breath. And exhale. And as I describe this to you, and as you get clear about who your tribe is at that table, how many of you are clear that you can do this? How many of you are more committed now and you understand it greater and you're more inspired to plant your flag in the sand, get out there and build this community around you? And if you are more committed and you were clear about this, I want to hear a yes, a hell yes. I want to hear I'm going to do this. I am committed. Amen. I'm clear. And hell yes. There is no question about this. Already doing it. Yahoo. Love it. Love it, love it, love it. I love this. I can do this. My flag is planted. My freaking flag is flying. I love that, Sandra. Okay, gang. So let's talk about a couple of other things that I want to make sure that you're clear about. You could add strong six figures to your bottom line in profit easily. And I want to just get your head thinking about a bunch of different ways in which you can do this. So top of the list is 10 people at $25,000 in a premium mastermind. So that's $250,000, full stop. Or you could do 5 people at 5K. So that's less than $500 a month if you ran 5 groups. And depending upon your structure, that could simply be working, I guess I was going to say one night a week, but it's not quite that. It's like 5 nights a month. You could do that in 5 nights a month and make $250,000. Now, how many of you have your own intellectual property? You've written a book, you have a process, you have a coaching summary, you have a model that works. I want to plant a seed with you that to me is really powerful in terms of doing this, is that I fervently believe that one of the greatest ways to scale is to license your content to other leaders. So this means that you could have other people facilitating your masterminds using your content. So this is one of, by the way, my favorite things to do under the sun. So get your mastermind up and running. We can teach you the systems and the structure and the process to do that. Train other people to in a replicatable process and earn income while serving your community. And it doesn't have to be you in terms of the time. That is monumentally significant, and I can help you how to do that. Beautiful. All right. There were other people who'd said, what about corporate masterminds? And I want to just share this in terms of questions at the very beginning. I want to share this quickly, and then we've got to get to a couple of other models that I want you to understand. So in a corporate environment, here's a great one. So one of my elite entrepreneurs wanted to do this mastermind process with his business. So what he did is he brought all of his sales team together and he said, hey, we have excess capacity in our plant. What should we do with it? He didn't come and tell them what to do. They all sat together. He led the mastermind, and here's what they came up with. Those light rail transit, we call them C trains. The doors, those mechanisms wear out all the time. They started building those, and in 90 days, they had a 6-figure business that didn't exist at all prior to that mastermind. So you can use a mastermind to get paid in a multitude of different ways. Frankly, I know a woman who was doing it in network marketing. So she ran a mastermind for her team leaders, and they went off and built stunning and amazing teams, and she got an override on every single person in the entire organization. So there's a lot of ways to do this. I just want you to know, this is possible. It can be done. It can be done. It can be done. It can be done. So I want to share 3 fast little examples and models with you. I do something called the JVology Joint Venture Summit. We do it 2 times a year. What this is a mastermind to do joint ventures together. It's 2.5 days. We limit participation to 30 people, plus or minus. Everyone pays $1,500 per person. So you can see on the front end, doing that twice a year, that's $90,000. Plus we get the income from the joint ventures that we serve, support, and build a community with. That's one of the easiest masterminds in the universe to do. It's so fantastic. In fact, we are now licensing this model and teaching other people to be JV hosts, what we call JVology Summit hosts. And there's a whole nother revenue stream of licensing our content, just like I was telling you before. So it doesn't have to be a monthly thing. You could do a semi-annual thing. You could do an annual event. There's a lot of ways to go about this. Now, Rayanne is a brilliant friend of mine. Love, love, love her. One of the most certified human beings on planet Earth. So she's certified to actually certify people in hypnosis, NLP. She's a real Peruvian shaman going back and forth from Peru for the last 15 years. She's a psychologist, a social worker, and so much more. But here's her model. It is super simple. She, because of her time and commitment and all those pieces, only runs 3 groups. Now, she likes to keep the price point of her groups low at $225 and intimate at 8 people. Now that's $5,400 a month or $65,000 a year. And let us be clear, 3 nights a month. Now, how many of you here would be willing to work 3 nights a month and make $65,000 a year? Seriously. For some of you, it's just not enough. Totally. Yeah. So it's doable. And what's quite fascinating about this is that she has a waiting list because she gets guarding the community and she gets service. Somebody just said that's very close to my intended model. Absolutely. Okay, let me share another one real quick. So Marco, good friend of mine, was on the board of CAPS, the Canadian Association of Public Speakers, one of the top personal trainers in Calgary, wrote his thesis on something called Learn and Burn, which is the influence and impact of physical activity on learning and retaining information. So he decided while going to school, while raising kids, while working, that he was just going to run two groups. And one was going to be on health and wellness, his wheelhouse. The other was going to be on financial well-being, because he was committed to creating a new and different result for himself and his family. Both groups, simply $97. 10 members, 2 nights a month, $24,000 a year. Now, let's be clear, that isn't, life-altering money. But I also want you to understand this. For how many of you would $24,000 a year, serving the tribe that you love, making a meaningful difference in your life, keeping yourself on track and serving spray, how many of you would $24,000 be a meaningful difference? For some of you, it might be just a difference like, look, I'm doing okay here, but that $24,000 would put me in the space. So for how many of you is that true? Yes, absolutely. It would definitely be meaningful. It would make a huge difference. Some yes, some no. Understand. Totally understand. Now, I want to be clear about this. How many of you believe right now, with a little structure and guidance, that you could go launch a mastermind group for $97 or $225? If you think that you could market that you could get people who are, meet the promise and the target, how many of you think you'd do that? And yes, $297. Yes, of course you can. There's no question about this. All right, beautiful. So here's the thing, and I want to talk to you as seriously as I can about this. Of course you could go do this, and you could probably do it on your own. You probably could. Some of you already are. All good. I understand. But I want to be clear about this, is that there's a bunch of things that you don't know that you don't know. I mean, I've given you like 3 big warning signs. Make sure you handle these things and avoid these potholes. But I got to tell you something. Mistakes in mastermind groups are far more expensive than mistakes in coaching and consulting. And here's the reason why. If you make a mistake in a mastermind group, you don't lose a client, you lose a group. And if that group was $1,000 a month, you just lost $10,000 a month, or $120,000 a year. That's an expensive mistake. You don't want to do that. I give you my word, because it costs way more than you realize. The other part about doing it yourself is it's often way slower than it needs to be. We can leapfrog and accelerate that process in monumental and amazing ways. And I said this at the beginning, for any of you who have this tendency to make shit harder than it has to be, stop that. For goodness sake, let us help accelerate you in that process. So here's my belief, is you need support to do this quickly, easily, joyfully, and that's what I want to offer to you. So if you're in this spot, you are sick and tired of struggling to get clients. If you're sick and tired of working way too hard for too little. If you're done worrying about consistent revenue, then what I'm about to offer you, I give you my word, will solve those problems. Now, if you're, on the other hand, ready to, number one, finally leave that day job and help people change their lives, if for those of you that are still, doing both. If you're ready, and I love this, this is one of the greatest things in the universe. If you're ready to have 6 months to a year of consistent income, all lined up and taken care of, without having to go out and chase more clients and find more clients and convert more clients. And if you're ready to work a day or an evening and have enough clients for an entire year. If you're ready for that, then here's what I want you to do, is I want you to seriously consider joining the Launch Your Mastermind 90-Day Bootcamp. Now, this is what, I love Paul. He's an amazing guy. Now, I got to tell you a little bit about him before I play you his testimonial, because it's quite astounding. So Paul was an accountant at Revenue Canada, and decided he had a spiritual awakening, and decided he was going to go and serve this tribe of spiritual adventurers. And in the last 90 days, he's created $73,000 of mastermind sales, and he has $15,000 of additional agreements in place. So I want to play his, I'm going to play his.
I've been working for 5 months, and he helped me understand what was my unique positioning and how I could bring the skills that I have between business as well as shamanism, and then create a very specific and unique mastermind process that brings people through these adventure retreats, as well as helps them create a project that is aligned with a meaningful purpose. While before working with him, I was trying to look at those two worlds separately. And I was in this dilemma, right? Where should I be focusing my efforts? And what happened as a result of that is not only did I go from having a mastermind concept that I thought might be like a $40 a month type program to a five-digit program, people are coming into it. They've been loving the message, and I've been using that as well to develop my one-on-one platform and everything that I'm doing at Sound of Prana. So now I'm also getting more one-on-one clients. My other programs are getting filled up. So it's really been that breakthrough moment, which is going back to what I was saying about that unique value inside of me, right? So I wasn't sure what that was exactly, and I was trying to split myself off. And then he helped me bring all of that together into a way to that it could connect with my tribes. And I mean, for me, if it wasn't for the power of the mastermind and the work that I've been doing with Jay, I wouldn't have reached my six-figure revenue target in less than 6 months, which is pretty amazing. You know, I would never have expected this would have happened with my business. But then it's also taking that specifically and empowering others to replicate that model for their own life and business goals.
So what I want to be clear about is he started from scratch, literally an accountant with no tribe in the spiritual world to 6 figures in under 6 months. So that is the power of the model we're talking about. And Megan, if you're in that same spot, then honest to goodness, come do the program. Now, here's another dear friend of mine. I love her. She is so cool. Her name's Robin. And this is a ton of chats. And just to be clear about this, in the program, I am available and I support through one of our models, which is the Facebook group. And so this is a chat. I just enrolled another in my mastermind. I have 3 confirmed this week, 100% success. Now, what that meant was she had 100% in conversations of people she filtered who said yes, and identified 15 more to contact this week. You rock. I'm happy for you. Thanks, Jay. It's easy to enroll them so far. Just 6 more to go. That is the power of positioning. Exactly.
In the past 6 months since working with Jay, I was able to take a program that I was just developing and insert masterminds into it. And so I've been able to, I had 12 WCCs, Wine, Conversation, and Cash, with a bunch of teachers. I was able to enroll them in my workshops, my webinars, and I enrolled 6 people in my first mastermind, which started about 2 weeks ago. If you haven't done the Bootcamp, that's a great place to start. That's where I started, and Jay really walks through what it's going to take in order to conceive of what you're doing, put direct pieces into place, things that you have to work through personally, things that you need to consider for your ideal customer, the contribution you're going to make. So he's very specific, and you walk away with a plan. It's not just like a bunch of concepts. You know what to do, and there's homework. My best piece of advice is to do what Jay says to do. It's really easy to think that, I've got my own way, or I want to do it this way. And I actually tried that with him briefly, and I quickly learned that he wasn't going to let me. And I'm really thankful that he didn't, because I think if I had persisted and he had given in, which he wouldn't do, I wouldn't be as happy as I am right now about what I've been able to create. So follow his advice. If you hire him, do what he says.
I just need to comment about that, because Robin wanted to launch 3 different masterminds at the same time. And I said, and I'll say this to all of you, when you do the Launch Your Mastermind 90-day program, we're going to tell you, you can do as many programs as you want, but you start with one and you fill one and you have one successful before you add number 2, 3, or 4. So anyway, we have this conversation. It's like, do 1. No, I'm going to do 3. It's like, so I bend her ear. And then it's like, I really want to do 3. And I said, okay, so we'll do 3, but this is going to be on a test. You tell me how long you think it's going to take you to get these up and running. And if you're struggling, then we go back to 1. So I can't even remember what we agreed to. I think it was 3 weeks, something like that. So 3 weeks later, she has exactly what I told her would happen, which is she's got 2 in this group and 2 in this group and 2 in this group, but she hasn't focused her energy enough to launch 1. So we redesign, we recreate, and we end up with a mastermind that's ready to go, and she was up and running, I think, in 6 days after that. So it is one of those pieces of just freaking follow the process. It's the best way I can say it.
In the past 6 months.
That's not what I'm trying to do. So here's the deal. If you wanted to work with me, I have a waiting list. By the way, little secret tip is that if you're going to lead masterminds, it is one of the greatest ways in the universe to build a one-on-one coaching practice. The funny thing about it is, as your masterminds fill, other people want to work with you. People in your masterminds, want to do one-on-one work with you. So I start at $25K and I have a waiting list. So that would be an option. But you know what? You can get my brain and you can get my experience for a whole heck of a lot less through the Launch Your Mastermind 90-day bootcamp. So this is absolutely everything that you require to create, market, fill, and lead successful, powerful, and profitable masterminds. Now, you get 7 live coaching and training calls with me. Okay, this is not passed off to a flunky. This is my quarter century of experience at your fingertips to roll this thing out and build what works for you. Now you get 6 training modules, and these 6 training modules are unbelievably important, and I want to tell you about each of them so that this makes perfect sense to you. So the first one is this: perfect positioning. We've talked a lot about this, and it is unbelievably strong, which is you must position you, your group, and your business model. This is the promise and the tribe coming together. When you get perfect positioning nailed, the rest of it is easy to do. Now the next is your personal evolution, being the leader that your tribe wants to follow. Because here's the thing, sometimes you can do absolutely everything, all of the steps, but people still don't show, or if they show, they don't stick. And it's not because of what you're doing, it's about who you are being. So the personal evolution model is unbelievably important. And then number 3 is fill your mastermind with ease. Now that's the 3rd manual, and we teach you a whole bunch of the strategies and the steps to have these conversations knock it out of the park for you every single time. And then after that, there is the member commitment piece. And I should just point this out so that this is perfectly clear to you, that the first 3 modules, and because we have to do this in order, obviously, the first 3 modules, this is all about building, okay? This is getting the mastermind up and running. But that is not enough. There are a multitude of people that have built masterminds that don't exist today because they didn't have the support and the structure and the process on the back end to actually sustain it and run it over the long haul. So the first 3 modules, build, the last 3 modules, run. And that is the membership commitment. Now that we've got people saying yes, how do we keep them engaged, and committed? Next one is facilitating skills. We talked a lot about that in terms of the 3 errors. It is one of the most important under the sun, and frankly, I love doing that, and we're good at it, and we can help with that. If you have the skills, that's great for you. If you don't have the skills, that's fine too. We'll help. We'll put them together. And then, of course, compelling content. Content that keeps them coming back for more. We'll teach you how to design experiential learning processes that put you in the spot of, boom, the exact content that's going to serve and support them to apply, integrate, and keep their feet moving with what it is they say they want. On top of that, you get a VIP member forum where I and my mastermind mentors will be there to serve and support you fast. Often you'll get an answer within minutes, sometimes within an hour, but it is always fast, and there's a bunch of us there that are supporting. Not to mention the other people in the tribe and the community who are pretty much rock stars. Then you get the hot seat breakthrough training. So what this is part of this facilitator skills component is that we break you into groups where you practice leading the hot seats, and you get feedback from other facilitators and other people who are leading masterminds. And it is one of the most powerful aspects of this entire process. I've had a bunch of people say to me, it's like, you know what, if I didn't do anything else, but I just got the hot seats from these brilliant people, I got my money's worth. So it's that and a whole bunch more. We do a ton of case studies. I gave you 2 little, Rayanne and Marco. We dive into models that work, models that don't work, and share the front, the back, everything with you, so you can see it and understand that design was really going to serve you and your tribe. And then member spotlights. If you are knocking it out of the park, we want to feature you, and we want to do everything we can to support you. It is just one of those amazing things that is significant. Can you do this at your own pace, or is it 90 days consecutive? All calls are recorded, all access. Once it opens, it is open to you all together and completely, so you can totally do it at your own pace, Sandra, not to worry. Okay, now I just got word from, I need to fix this because there's been a phone number change for somebody, so I just want to get this here. Now, if any of you want to call anyone on our team to discuss this, to handle mechanical details or any of those pieces, this is the number that you can call, which is 843-800-2937. Now, the Launch Your Mastermind Bootcamp, you can go to this link, which is mastermindtomillions.com/join. So that's mastermindtomillions/join. And for the first 20 attendees on this call, here's what happens. You get the Mastermind Bootcamp. Now, the Mastermind Bootcamp is worth $4,491. Oh, we got to get it to share again. Thank you. I see that didn't occur after I changed it. Thank you. There we are. So if you can just confirm that is working. Okay, we're back. So it is mastermindtomillions.com join. And we have a bonus because we want to incent you to make a commitment to yourself. We know that in your heart and soul you want to get something done, so just get the darn thing done. So mastermindtomillions.com/join. You can see it up on the screen. Now, the Mastermind Bootcamp is worth $4,491. And how that's broken down, just so you're perfectly clear about that, is simply this. The live calls with me, $19.97. The 6 modules, those are $14.97. And the Facebook group is $9.97. And honestly, every single one of those 3 things is undervalued for what you get. Now, we also have some bonuses to make this easy for you. Easy. So the gift. Now, the gift is a 3-day transformational program that is one of the most powerful experiences. I've been leading it for 27 years. It was the most meaningful turning point in my life. And if you're going to get yourself lined up, heart, mind, and soul, this is the most powerful thing. And by the way, as a facilitator, there's a whole bunch of content and stuff that you can pull from that experience that you can take to your group. It's a good idea of killing 2 birds with 1 stone. Then you get the Facebook Freedom Formula. That is one of the most powerful pieces of positioning I have ever seen. So my business partner, Joshua, young guy, travels the world making $18,000 to $30,000 a month from his free Facebook page because the targeting of message and the people that he is targeting are perfect. It is one of the best things I have ever seen. So you get that. It's valued $497. You also get one-on-one coaching. And I want you to understand this because we want you to win at this. Like, seriously, win at this. So the perfect positioning piece is so important. And I think it was Neil who was asking, like, will we help you with figuring out what that positioning is and how all of that stuff happens? Yes, we will. And in fact, we will even give you a one-on-one coaching session. Now that's $497 so that you get to work with a person. You're not just left off to your own because you get that nailed and the rest of this is easy. If you don't get that nailed, the rest of this is challenging. All right. And here's one of my favorites. A ticket to the Mastermind to Millions live event. So we do a live event that covers all of the 6 pillars of building these masterminds live and in person. And that event is simply one of my favorite things to do all year long. And well, I could rant and rave about it, but let's put it this way. $997 will be the best under the sun. It will knock your socks off. We have some of the best people in the universe coming and helping to teach you how to, in an experiential, in-person, heart-to-heart, face-to-face way, how to apply each of those 6 pillars. It rocks. So you also get a fast action bonus. If you were one of the first 20 people, which I think you got to hustle to actually get that done, which is this, you also get the power of mission training. And the power of mission training is unbelievably important. When I started taking one-on-one coaching clients, I required people to go through this process to clarify their mission. And I'm not talking about their work mission or their parenting mission. I'm talking about their overarching mission in life. And when it is done well, what happens is everything lines up of who you are serving, why you are serving them, who you are being, and how you show up in the world. It's a requirement for anybody I coach, and it is powerful. So that's $497. You would get that as a fast action bonus. So all of the bonuses and the program is worth just shy of $8,000. And by the way, all the bonuses you're going to get for free. And here's the deal. It's $19.97 for all of them. When you register before, I think I changed that when I was in there, you got to register before 3 p.m. Pacific. Pardon me, it's 5 p.m. Pacific. I don't know why my slides are a little bit goofy. Sorry about that. So let me just write that in so that we're on the same page. I think something happened when I changed it. Sorry, gang. So it is not 8 p.m. Pacific. It is 5 p.m. Pacific. So that's the offer. Now, I want you to just hear from what John had to say because I totally get how all of these things happen and what transpires here. But I do want you to be very, very clear. What we do works.
Jay, I wanted to do this testimonial for you because as I started my coaching practice 2 years ago, there are so many different programs that I've done, online, in-person seminars and conferences. And a majority of those did not deliver the goods. There wasn't the value there. And what I want to share with you is about a year into my coaching practice, I kind of fell into a mastermind group forming with just some incredible group of CEOs. And what's come out of that, the results, has been powerful. And I loved it. And I started trying to recreate it. And it was really a challenge. I wasn't doing a good job of getting it to come together. And a friend of mine referred me over to you, and I looked at your material. And, I've always looked for people that are doing things and they can know how to do them better than I can. I'm always looking for mentors, and that's what I saw in you. So I jumped into your boot camp. I jumped into your boot camp, and what I learned out of it was within 30 days of starting, Jay, I had formed one mastermind group online, which I had no idea how to do. And I have another entirely high-end mastermind group that's in person already forming. And I just wanted to share with you that I think over the next year, conservatively, it's going to add almost $200,000 to my bottom line. And I really just wanted to thank you for putting yourself out there, this incredible content, the value of the material, because it so differentiates yourself from everything else out there that I've personally been a part of and paid for in the past. So, man, thank you, brother. I sure appreciate you.
So the truth is, I could go through testimonial after testimonial after testimonial, but we all have lives to get to as well. But the
I wanted
to
do this.
There we go. Oh, I want to share one more. Are there any people here who are running free masterminds that need to transition that to paid masterminds? Because if there are, I just want to share with you very quickly that this woman is brilliant. Her name is Norva in the United Kingdom, and she's been running free masterminds for a long while. And we worked together and came up with a strategy for her to transition from the free to the paid. And in that process, she is now charging $300 a month for her group, and she is in a really good spot and doing stunningly well. So the program starts on February 2nd, and that is our welcome call, and that is when we release the first bit of content and material. And what I want you to understand is this. How this program works is you get the material, you go through the module for a week, then we get on a live call with me, and I will coach you about how to apply, integrate, and put that together in your process. And then you've got a week to apply the coaching. Then we release the next module. So it continues to work like that. So module, coaching, module, coaching, module, coaching. So you get your hand held through the entire process. And of course, in between all of that, you have live access to me, my mastermind mentors, in the Facebook group. So there's always this momentum. And that is how you're able to do a couple of things. Number one, do it at your own pace, speed it up if you are interested in speeding it up, and getting all of those fun, wonderful things done. So it starts on February 2nd, which means that you need to make a decision. If this is the year that you're going to roll out your mastermind, please, for goodness sakes, do what it takes to get the support in place to do it joyfully, easily, and fast. Use our manuals, use our contracts, use our agreements, use our structures, get the coaching, understand the marketing and the positioning. We can help you do this, in John's example, in 30 days. Now, what you haven't seen here, by the way, is that first group that he filled online, he filled it at what we call a beta price. It was a lower price start to get people up and running. And even his beta mastermind in 3 months generated $9,000, and they converted over to a $45,000 mastermind. Not that was his overall income, $45,000, and he did it in 30 days. So could you, my friends. So could you. All right, gang. I want to do this super fast. Return on investment. Because I don't know about you guys, but my brain always has to work these things out. Because depending where you're at, 1997 could be a significant investment, or maybe it's not. But if it is, I want you just to get ROI here for a brief moment, which is this. A group of 10 at 97 bucks is $11,640. That's a 583% ROI. Break even is 2 people. I mean, goodness gracious. If you just did that, this program would be the best thing you ever bought. But let's scale it up a little bit. A group of 10 at 297, almost 36,000 bucks. 1,700% rate of return. Half a person as the break even. That's crazy. So if you believe, as I asked you earlier, who here could do it for 297? Who here could do it for 97? And the vast majority of you said, hell yes, I could do that. Then let's get it done. And let me support you to do that and to put that money in your bank account. Now, return on investment is all well and fine. But let's talk about return on life. I think it's actually way more important. Got to satisfy the rational brain so it makes sense. But let's actually speak to the heart here for a little bit. Here's the truth. Every person on here, when I said, are you called to contribute something? Typed in, I'm called. This is my mission. I'm serving my tribe. I'm making a difference. This is what I'm here for. That was abundantly clear at the beginning of this call. So, without a doubt, you are going to serve and support your tribe. Now, what is the benefit of that to your life? Because I want you to serve, but I also want you to create a life of abundance. And if you could free up the time and the money, what would you do? And I'd love to hear from each of you. What would you actually do with this if you started getting free about this? And by the way, I see a whole bunch of people already signing up. Congratulations, you've made a brilliant choice. So you could send your kids to college. Now, anybody here in the process of wanting to retire their spouse, which is, look, I just don't want him or her to work so hard. I want them to be able to be home. I want them to be able to enjoy life. I want us to be able to have time to go on holidays. I want to be able to go tobogganing with the kids on the hill. Maybe you'd go on your dream vacation. Now, here's a little hint, by the way. If you're going to do masterminds, you engage your masterminds with a retreat model, and you integrate your holidays with the retreat, and you get to write the whole shebang off. That, by the way, is one of the most brilliant things in the universe. But I want to just ask you about what you would actually do. So just take a moment. I'm going to ask each of you to take a moment. If you handled your money and you handled your time, what would the return on life be for you? So Sandra was saying, is I put more money into my Work for Women Foundation. I'd have time to garden. I'd play more with the kids. I'd go back to school. I love that. Oh, Megan, I'm a huge fan of that. I'd offer services to those in need without having to charge. That makes my day. I love that. Which, gang, here's a little idea as a part of your giving back. A contribution mastermind is one of the most stunning things under the sun. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. Leave my day job, invest in the grandkids, retire my spouse, finish writing my book. I love that. Provide for my kids, build a dream house, and write my novels. Yes. So here's my point to this, and this is why I want you to really take a deep breath and feel into and check into, is this what I'm meant to do? Is it what I'm meant to do? So yes, you have a calling. Yes, you have a tribe. They are there waiting for you. The question is, are you ready to scale up your contribution so that you can get the return on life that you desire and deserve, so that you can serve more people to wake up, to transform, to live their mission, to enjoy their lives? That's what this is all about. So if you're ready to do that, and I know many of you already have, I want you to just click the button and get yourself registered. And that is mastermind2millions. Actually, let me just get it up here for a second. The cost of inaction. So it's launch your, that's not correct. It is the mastermind2millions.com/join. And oh, for goodness sakes, these are repeated things here. So let me just get this fixed, gang. When one error happens, it gets replicated. So I just want you to make sure that you have the right information. 829:37. Get this back up. So this makes perfect sense too. There you are. So again, the first 20 people, I don't know if we're at that spot yet or not. I know a bunch of you have registered. That was absolutely brilliant for you. But you get the Mastermind Bootcamp, worth $44.91. You get all of these bonuses. The gift, which, by the way, I've had many people say that the gift is worth more than everything else combined, just in terms of the personal transformation that transpires. You get the Facebook Freedom Formula. That is that perfect positioning piece that'll knock your socks off. You get one-on-one coaching, for goodness sakes, included in this price from brilliant people. And by the way, if you have your positioning nailed, they are also fabulous entrepreneurial coaches. They'll help you with whatever else you need to do. You get to come to the event, and by the way, the Mastermind to Millions event is June 3rd to 5th in Las Vegas, and that event is just simply one of the most powerful and fun events under the sun. And then, of course, you get the fast action bonus, which is the power of mission training. So all of that, worth that amount of money. But you know what? The return on life is, what would it be worth to retire your husband? What would it be worth to travel the world? What would it be worth to actually create that dream environment, that sanctuary for your family? That's what we're talking about. 1997, you got to act before 5 today. And I want to be very clear about this. That's Pacific time. And we will take stunningly good care of you. This will be simply the best decision that you've ever made. And I don't know if any of you are sports fans, but many people call this a TSN turning point. meaning in the game on the sports network, it's the moment that the game turned. That's what we do. So on that note, gang, what I want to do is this. If you're having difficulty, gang, it says you can always call our team at 843-800-2937. So what I want to do is this, is I'm open to having a conversation with anyone who's here. And if you're on the fence and it's like, look, I really want to do this, but I'm not sure, or I didn't get this answered, or I don't get what this particular thing is, you can ask me any questions. Like, number one, just type on the thing if you're on the fence. You're absolutely, I don't want to convince you of anything. You've got to get clear about this. This is for you. But I do want to make sure that you feel like this is the right piece for you and you understand how this is the right piece for you. And honestly, I've just had a little note slid in here. If you want all of these bonuses, so these are the first 20 people who are registering, you get all of these bonuses. If you want the bonuses, you've got to act right away because there's only a couple of spots left. So I strongly suggest that you get that done ASAP. So gang, if you're having difficulties with it, let me just show you something that is really important. So I'm going to get out of here because I got a couple of people trying to click the button, and I'm just going to get this set up for you here as quick as I can. All right, so this page here, which is the join the Launch Your Mastermind Bootcamp page, okay, so this is where you're heading to. Two things. Down here where it says leave us a message, you can actually, it's just going to connect here. You can have a live chat with my team here, and they will answer any questions that you have about. There we go. They'll answer any questions that you have. So just jump on in. You can do that as well. And at any point in time, you can, of course, and I'll just put the phone number in here as well. You can call any one of our team, and they're happy to answer any of your questions. 843-800-2937 and 843-800-2937. Send to all, and they'll take really great care of you. So I just want you to understand that that is one of the pieces that will make a monumental difference. There's a couple of those spots left. If for whatever reason you're having trouble with the link or any of those sorts of things, somebody's stuck in there, all you need to do is reach out, do a live, get a hold of the people in the chat, or you can even just put your phone number in the little question and answer area here. Just put your phone number in there, and our team will call you back and respond, because they can only talk to so many people at a time, but they're talking to as many people as there are. There's a lot of people moving and shaking on this. So just get that stuff done. How do I dial from Switzerland? And by the way, a couple of people asking about payments. You can totally do payments. And I want to be clear about this. There's one payment of $19.97. There is 6 payments of $3.97. And if you are truly and genuinely stuck, there's even a 12-pay option that will spread it out further so that you've got a little bit more time to get yourself up and running and moving and shaking. But again, you're going to have to make a commitment and figure out how to get that done as fast as you can. Yeah, you're welcome, Win, and congratulations. And Sandra, congratulations. We'll get that taken care of for you right away, not to worry. Okay, so I want to just go back to this this piece. And Aniko, you have a question, which once this part is finished, I want to make sure that I serve and support people to get the information that they need to choose wisely. I want to do this. Let me get back to the webinar presentation. There we go. So on that note, when you go to this link, the mastermindtomillions.com/join, it is at the bottom of that sales page that you're going to see the link that says the hot seat manual. So you're just going to go to the bottom of that page, click and download it. That's where that is for you. So you can grab that at any point in time. It's all good, not to worry. Oh, you're welcome. Absolutely. Yes, gang. So if you're fence sitting, get your phone number in as quick as you can. We'll take care of you, I promise. So the thing that I want to be very clear about is this. If there is a question about, is this a fit? How does this work? How can I take advantage of this? Or anything else that you have in terms of a consideration, be that money or anything, I'm going to ask you just to go back to the process and just say, I'm on the fence, or on the fence. If you just type in on the fence, that would be just fine. That's the wrong number. So I did not know that they were changing the number, gang, and obviously until we are doing this. So I do not want to confuse that, so I will fix it here again. All right. 2937. Okay, we are back on track in terms of numbers. Don't call the other number, nobody will be there. But this number is being answered as fast as they possibly can go. So every time I say on the fence, something else happens. So the days and times of the live training, that's a technical question that they're usually noon Mountain, and they alternate and they're Tuesdays. But everything is recorded, so you don't have to worry about if you miss that. You can still, number one, listen to the call, then go to the live, the Facebook group and get live support as well. So everything's recorded. You won't miss out on anything. Do not worry about that. And for those of you who are on the fence, I want to just be really clear about if you want to have a conversation, I am 1000% willing to just have a chat, answer your questions, and see if there's a fit here for you. And again, I am not going to, it is not my objective clearly to sell you. It is my objective to support you to understand what it is and how the fit is. So if you do want to do that, you can just type in on the fence and unmute me, and then I can unmute you. You can ask your question. And one of the things about this is that sometimes what you're feeling and thinking is what's going on for 100 or 200 other people, and it can make a huge difference for them as well. So if you're brave and bold and enough, then what I'd love for you to do is just say unmute me. I'll unmute you. You can ask your questions, and I'll do my very best to serve and support. I'm just looking at the list here, gang. I'm not on the fence. Just figuring out the financing. Yeah, the 12 payments. Now, just to be clear about this, for the 12 payments, you just need to contact in the chat window or on the phone, and we'll make a special process for you. Are we done for those who've registered? Absolutely. If you have registered and all those sorts of things, yeah, it's all good. I'm just going to answer questions for people, and all is good. Now, how does the live event vary from the online? Well, it's experiential in nature, and we actually work you through a bunch of the processes in collaboration and in connection and in mastermind groups in terms of living exactly what we're doing. So the live event is really a stunning and fun and amazing experience that helps connect the head, the heart to the feet in community, because most powerfully, transformation happens with community. Yeah, you're welcome, Neil. No worries whatsoever. Yes, Don, absolutely that applies. So the question was, our guarantee says you need to watch the live programs. I work during the days, the times you spoke of, so as long as I watch the replay, does that count? Yes, absolutely. And I want to be clear about this, is that here's what we know. I've been doing this for 25 years. Our process works if you work it. I want to be clear that our guarantee is you do the work and you will get those results, and you'll be thrilled about it. But this is not I changed my mind and it's inconvenient guarantee. I am not interested in working with people like that. Like, seriously, I can't say it any clearer than that. Is that if you are committed to creating this result, I will stand there, I will hold your hand, we will work with you till you get it done. But do not be one of those stick your toe in the water people. Be somebody who is committed to making the difference in your life, with your tribe, with your community. We will knock it out of the park with you. Like, knock it out of the park. Oh, you're very welcome. A ton of thank yous, all those sorts of things. Congratulations on enrolling. That is brilliant. Okay. So on that note, if there are no questions about, if there are no other questions about the program, honest goodness, just do it and trust yourself. Simple, clean, and easy. Do it. Trust yourself. I'm happy to answer questions. So I have 15 minutes to answer any questions about the application, the integration of how you are going to roll this out in your business and in your life. So if if you've got a question about those specifics, then please ask them now. I will serve and support. All our fees are US dollars, just to be clear. All our fees are US dollars. The vast majority of our delivery and our team and all those sorts of things, all US dollars. And I know for Canadians, that means that the course is a little bit more, but I want to be very clear about this. Your return on investment and your return on life is going to make this one of the best investments you've ever made. And I want to be clear about this. You're not buying a course. You're not buying a program. You are investing in a business system and a model that you can, number one, change your entire strategy from trading time for money to scaling and growing and leverage. And you can create ROI in it in, well, the fastest we've ever had is a woman named Carol Schulte, 48 hours. She filled a mastermind. She filled a mastermind of 10 people at $97 in 48 hours. I think a ton of you could do that as well. How does it work for rolling out a brand new business? That's a really broad question, Don. So I need to know a whole bunch more about what the business is. So here's the thing that I want you to consider in asking a question like that, is that masterminds are about building community. They are about building tribe, and they are about helping people to be and to create the results and the experiences that they want. So depending on what the business is, you've got to figure out, heart, mind, and soul, what is it that your customers want? What is it that is going to build community, that is going to serve and support them and the new business? I have yet to see an example where a mastermind couldn't serve and support that process, but I would need a whole bunch more. I would need a whole bunch more details in that process. If I join the payment program, do I get all the material? Yes, of course. You're just paying in a slightly different way. Just going through the questions, gang. Can it be combined with the coaching program? Is it before or after my coaching program or a part of the system? Oh, Valerie, that's a brilliant question. So 3 things to know about this is that if you have an online program or an internet program or a training program of some sort, masterminds are really powerful ways to build a community and hold people's hand to get the work actually done. Because it's one thing to go, oh, hey, that's a great idea, but to actually design and create their lives around it is a different thing altogether. So you can have a mastermind as a follow-up integration, being, living, and doing it process, all well and fine. You can also combine, and I'm a big fan of what I would call blended bundles, because they offer a whole bunch of different types of support and education for different reasons. So for example, my lead program, it's a premium program, it is 12 months long, and it has a variety of pieces in it. So number one, they get like a half day of coaching and strategy from me to set up their year. Then we do 6 mastermind calls on influence. We do 6 mastermind calls on income. Plus, we do a whole business building process. So what we do is we combine the pieces together so that it serves and supports all aspects. Because number one, there has to be education. Number 2, there has to be mastermind service and support. Number 3, we want to build business systems and models. So we help them with all of it. And those bundles, in my estimation, are some of the most powerful. So great question. Brad, if you're having trouble with the Facebook, the website chat, it probably means that just all of the chatters are busy at this second. So what I just suggest, Brad, is just put your phone number down here, and we will call you as fast as we possibly can. Is the Power of Mission training available immediately? I joined about 5 minutes ago, so it's a good question in terms of the bonus things. I believe that you will get an email with the bonus. Okay, I was just getting signed from the crew because we've got a whole bunch of people joining. You'll get all of that stuff tonight. This is for 90 days, and we get 6 calls. So what is the time lag in between? I'm not sure I understand that question, Melissa. In fact, you get 7 calls, and I don't really understand the lag. So we start on February 2nd, And that is a welcome call, and we release the first bit of material. And then what occurs is 7 days from then, we are going, 7 days from then, we do our next coaching call, and we release the content, and it just continues to rotate. Content, module, content, content, coaching, content, coaching, content, coaching. So I trust that makes sense. And it isn't exactly 90 days. We don't work it out. It's like, it's 7 calls, 6 modules, approximately 90 days. Hopefully that just makes sense. Great, just registered by phone. That's fantastic. All right, gang, anything else I can answer? I got 9 more minutes left. I'm happy to serve and support in terms of application and engagement and getting stuff done. All good. How else do you want to roll this thing out in your world, in your business? Let me know. I will answer everything I can to serve and support. Because this really is about fulfilling the dream and fulfilling your calling. That's what we're up to. All good? What if we're not sure who our tribe is? So that's a really great question. And one of the things that we do a ton of work on in the Perfect Positioning is we explore a variety of pieces about your background, your expertise, your unique contribution, all of those pieces. And one of the things that sometimes people struggle with is like, well, who am I to lead a mastermind? Why would somebody pick me and all of those pieces? And we do a lot of work around this idea that many of us are unlikely leaders. And what I mean by being an unlikely leader is that we can't see our gifts. We can't see ourselves for the forest for the trees. But the truth is this: if you are committed to serving and you know what it is that is the difference you want to make in the world, I give you my word that we can help you put your stake in the ground and attract the tribe that you are, frankly, probably a little bit blind to because it's too close to you. But every single one of us has the capacity to lead. Every single one of us has a tribe that is waiting. Every single one of us has a role for us to fulfill on planet Earth. So just ask you to trust that if you are called, we can help you to ground that. We can help you to put it together in terms of what we call the filtering script, and we can help you to craft the promise of your group. So it's built into the program, is the long and the short of it. If you're not clear, we'll help you get clear. No worries. Now, I should just be clear about this. Somebody just said, oh, I'll join next time. So here's the thing. We don't have a next time. This is the one time that we are doing this year. And if 2016 is your year, then get your butt in the program. And the reason we're only doing it this time this year is that the JVology brand that I was telling you about, what used to be the Banff JV Summit, is that whole process is getting scaled into a global brand with summit hosts all over the world, and we've got a ton of traveling to do and support for that process. So if this is one of the things you want to do this year, do not say, oh, I'll catch it next time. At this stage of the game, there isn't even a next time booked. So jump on in and get her done this time, honest to goodness. What can a few meeting be enough for? In my experience, we need a ton of assistance to break through coaching processes, frequent support. I can only see the mastermind as an extra. What is your experience? In mastermind, giving enough in a few meetings in itself. So, Aniko, I'm not 100% sure that I understand the question, but here's what I think you're asking, is that a short-term mastermind, like three or four meetings, isn't going to get that far. And bottom line, you are right, it won't. So one of the reasons, and we don't recommend short masterminds in terms of, it's like, hey, I'm going to sell a 90-day mastermind, or I'm going to sell a 6-month mastermind. Not a fan. We do these beta masterminds, which are a combination. Think of them as marketing, think of them as tribe building, think of them as contribution and community building. We do those with the express purpose of actually enrolling them in a 12-month program. So in fact, that short process doesn't shorten it, it actually lengthens it. So we end up having them for 3 months or 4 months, and then they make a 12-month commitment, which actually has us at 15 or 16 months, which is the time that is necessary to really dig deep and create the process and get the work done. Is there a way to accelerate the program for ourselves? I would like to start the program right away. Short version, if you talk to the team, we can see what it is that you're actually after exactly, Sherry, and see how we can serve and support in that process. So it is absolutely a possibility. We can talk to our team. We'll try and figure it out for you in terms of what you're after precisely. Okay. All right, gang. So just going to wrap this thing up. So here's the thing that I want to say to you. If you're still here on the line and asking questions about masterminds and creating value and figuring out how you're going to apply this to your life and to your business and to your tribe, here's the reality. You want to lead a mastermind. And bottom line, you should. It is one of the most amazing and joyful experiences. Now, here's something I want to share with you that I think is kind of cool. Every single one of us, in terms of serving the world, has had these experiences. We're working with somebody, and as we're working with somebody, it's like, oh, the light goes on. You can literally see the weight that they've been carrying for years disappear, and they look 10 years younger. You've seen that single tear that comes down somebody's face. You've seen the joy of, oh, I get it, and my business is working. And every single one of you, when that happens, goes, wow, that's why I'm here. That's what I do. That's the difference that I make. You know what I'm talking about. So here's why leading your mastermind is a must. I want you to imagine that process. Like even just go to one of your strongest experiences of that ever happening. Now I want you to imagine that it was twice as powerful. If you can, what if it was 3 times more powerful? 4 times, 5 times? Because that's exactly what happens in a mastermind. It is exactly what happens in a mastermind. What occurs is that someone has a breakthrough, and that breakthrough sparks someone else who also has a breakthrough. That breakthrough sparks someone else who also has a breakthrough. And the synergy and the dynamics and the astounding experience that occurs is completely and utterly life-altering. And it magnifies your gift and your contribution 1,000-fold. 1,000-fold. Because each of those people go out and do their work in the world. So, if you like it one-on-one, what I can tell you is you will love it, love it, love it, one-to-many. So, trust yourselves. Trust yourselves. It's a tiny amount of money for what you get. Like, it's tiny. It is a pittance. Almost every single one of those bonuses in and of themselves is worth the entire program. So, handle your considerations. Do not let your considerations handle you. You are more powerful than that. You have a bigger calling than that. And if in your heart and in your soul it's like, damn it, I need to do a mastermind, then very simply go to mastermindtomillions.com/join. If you need to talk to one of our team members, pick up the phone and talk to one of our team members or use the live chat. But get yourself committed, get yourself in, and get yourself done. So from the bottom of my heart, I wish you love, joy, and happiness. I wish you epic contribution to your tribe and to your world. And I look forward to serving and supporting you in the Launch Your Mastermind 90-Day Bootcamp. It will knock your socks off. My friends, have a fantastic rest of your afternoon, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.